So I want to talk about, this relationship between history, race, and a new idea against the backdrop of this historical development and what we might do, what we need to do, I think, in trying to imagine a new America. At the moment in which we reach for a different way of being as a nation, to be a truly multiracial democracy, the country doubled down on its ugliness. It doubled down on the belief that white people mattered more than others. Black History Month is more than just simply a kind of litany of the achievements of Black folk. It's more than just simply a kind of listing of our contributions to the nation. Of course, it's important that we do so, because white supremacy has led to the redacting of our contribution to this country. The only reason we needed Negro History Month in 1926, the only reason why Negro History Month morphs into Black History Month is because we live in a country that fundamentally values devalues Black bodies, values white bodies more, and distributes advantage and disadvantage along those lines. So we have to tell the story about our contributions to this country. But if we really ought to understand Black history for what it is, it's actually a critique of this belief that white people matter more than others. It's an effort to dispel this view that because of the color of one's skin, that one ought to accrue certain kinds of benefit and value. Every single time we've tried to challenge that view, the country has doubled down on its ugliness. We got the gutting of the Voting Rights Act with the Shelby decision by the Supreme Court. We got voter suppression, and then eventually the election of Donald Trump. At the very moment in which the nation thought it was imagining itself otherwise, we doubled down on our ugliness. At every turn, when we face the kind of moral reckoning we now face, the country has doubled down on its ugliness. And at every turn, when a new America is about to be born, the umbilical cord of white supremacy has been wrapped around its neck, choking the life out of it. It is clear, and the violence of January 6th is the evidence, that the election in November didn't settle any of this. As you can imagine, given my own politics, I was happy to see the end of the previous administration, but I pray that we do not trade one fantasy for another, that somehow the election of Joe Biden affirms America's inherent goodness and puts a grateful republic back to sleep. Presidential elections alone, no matter how momentous, do not settle the question of who we take ourselves to be. The answer to that question will emerge in what we do now, how we will grapple with that past that continues to move us about precisely because it is in us. Part of what needs to happen, I think, is we need to form a new social and moral contract with each other. One that announces our obligations to each other. Think about your honor code and what that honor code means for you and how you're supposed to move about tasks. What's the expectation of you and your responsibility to your work and to your fellows? I think that contract should involve, a broad public infrastructure of care, of concern, that moves from healthcare to a living wage, to education, to safety and security. And this, to my mind, takes us to the heart of how we might understand race and democracy in this country. I think, students at Taft, you need to understand this, that America's original sin was not slavery. It wasn't the genocide of Native peoples either. These are consequences of something. America's original sin is what James Baldwin described as the price of the ticket. And that is this belief that you must become white. And that belief that white people matter more than others, combined with greed, has distorted and disfigured our way of life. I think we have to tell ourselves a different story about who we are. And Black History Month gives us an occasion to do just that.